Good morning, my dear students. Today in this session we will start with Learn Well English Unit 4, lesson number 4.1. Name of the lesson is Love. Here you will read a story by Guy de Maupassant, who was a great French writer. The story tells how love governs not only the heart of man but also the heart of birds and animals. I will read the story as the author is saying in his own words. Author says that he has just read in a newspaper a drama of passion. He killed her and then he killed himself. He must have loved her. It is not he or she that matters to me, it is their love alone that matters to me. It recalls to my mind a remembrance of my youth. Author is saying that, he is saying in his own words that how he is feeling. So, he is very fond of shooting, yet the sight of the wounded animal or bird or the blood on its feathers and on his hands affects his heart so deeply as to make it almost stop. That year the cold weather set in suddenly toward the end of autumn, and author was invited by his cousins Carl to go with him and shoot ducks on the marshes near his farmhouse. Author's cousin was a jolly fellow of 40 years, a typical countryman, stout, rough, bearded and dull. He lived in a large farmhouse situated in a broad valley through which a river ran. The hills right and left were covered with woods. The description is given by the author that where his cousin was staying, what was his age, and where he was living. Here the rarest of birds could be found. In the valley there were large meadows separated by hedges. Further on, by the side of the river, there was a vast marsh. It was the best shooting ground author ever saw. It was his cousin's chief care. He kept it as a preserve. Through the rushes that covered it, narrow passages had been cut. Through these passages, his cousin often went in his flat-bottomed boat to catch fish or hunt wild fowl. Author arrived at cousin's place in the evening. It was freezing cold. They had a dinner in the large room whose sideboards, walls and ceilings were covered with stuffed birds. Among them were hawks, owls, nightjars, buzzards, vultures and falcons dressed in a sealskin jacket. His cousin himself resembled some strange animal. He was also looking like a strange animal because he has worn the jacket of seal skin. Even the hut they had made was walls were and ceiling were covered with stuff of the birds. He told author about the preparation he had made for that same night when they will go for hunting. All the preparations were done by his cousin. Now, author and his cousin started at 3:30 in the morning. At what time? 3:30 in the morning, so as to reach the marsh at about 4:30. On that spot, a hut had been built to shelter somewhat from the biting wind which blows before daybreak. Author threw himself onto his bed immediately after he had finished meal and went to sleep by the side of the bright fire burning in the grate. At 3 o'clock he woke. His cousin woke him up. Author put on a sheepskin and his cousin covered himself with a bear skin. See, they had worn the skin's jacket. After having each swallowed 2 cups of scalding coffee, followed by the glasses of brandy, they started accompanied by a gamekeeper and their 2 dogs. They started for hunting with their 2 dogs. and one gamekeeper. Carl and author walked side by side, their backs bent, hands in pockets and guns under their arms. They were soon on the edge of the marsh and entered one of the lanes of dry rushes. Their elbows, which touched the long ribbon like leaves, left a slight noise behind them. Suddenly, at the turn of one of the lanes, author saw the hut which had been constructed to shelter them. He went in and rolled himself up in a rug because he was feeling very cold. So he went inside the hut and rolled himself in the rug. But it was so terribly cold that he began to cough. His cousin Carl felt uneasy for means for author. No matter if you don't kill much today, he said. I don't want you to catch cold. We will light a fire, and he told the gamekeeper to cut some rushes. Means author was not feeling comfortable. He was feeling very cold. So he said, okay, it's no problem. You sleep. You light the fire and sit inside. You will catch cold. So if you don't today hunt more birds, no problem. They made a pile in the middle of their hut. There was a hole in the middle of the roof to let out the smoke. Hut was made of lumps of ice. When the red flames rose up, the lean ice blocks began to melt gently as if they were sweating. Carl, who had gone outside, called out, "Come and look here." Author went out of the hut and was struck with astonishment. Hut, the shape of a cone, looked like a huge diamond with the heart of a fire. See, you can see over here the picture of the hut is given, and you can see over here the fire flames are coming out. In the middle there is a huge hole. From that the smoke is coming out. Inside they saw two charming forms, those of our dogs, their dogs who were warming themselves at the fire. The dogs also went inside to warm themselves. Suddenly a wandering cry passed near their heads, and the light from hearth showed the wild birds. Put out the fire, said Carl to the gamekeeper. It was getting daylight. Now you off the fire because now it is sunlight is coming, so off the fire. The sky was beginning to grow pale. Beautiful white ducks started rising from the marshes. After every few minutes they rose in the sky in a long thin lines. You can see over here the birds are flying. A stream of light burst into the night. Carl had fired, and the two dogs ran forward. Then every minute now fired from our guns, means they started firing. You can see over here the picture is given. The birds were flying. They fired from the gun to kill those birds, to shoot those birds. And the dogs, out of the breath but happy, brought the bleeding birds to us. Means the dogs, where the bird fell down, both the dogs ran and they brought that bleeding birds near the hut. The birds painfully fluttered their wings and their eyes occasionally looked at us. The birds were alive. They were not died, but they had a pain. The sun had risen and it was a bright day with a blue sky. They were thinking of taking departure. Just then two birds with extended necks and outstretched wings flew rapidly over their heads. They fired, and one of them fell almost near Author's feet. It was a teal with a silver breast, and then in the blue space above him, he heard a voice, the voice of a bird. It was a short, repeated, heart-rending lament. This bird began to turn round and round in the blue sky over their heads because his partner was dead, shot dead. It was looking at its dead companion, which author was holding in his hand. Carl was on his knees, his gun on his shoulder, watching it eagerly until it should be within. Author says, "You have killed the ducks." "You have killed the duck," he said, "and the drake will not fly away." Now, one who fell down was the duck, and the drake was going on round and round in the blue sky. And really, he did not fly away. He circled over his heads repeatedly and continued his cries. Never have any cries of suffering pained my heart so much that lament of the poor bird. Occasionally he flew away due to the danger of the gun which followed his movements. Then it would seem to me that he had decided to continue his flight alone. But as he would not bear the pain of separation, he would return to find his mate, who had been shot dead. Leave her to the ground," Carl said to me. Carl then said to the author that you leave this duck on the ground. "He will come within shot by and by," means if you will put this duck down, then drake will come to pick him up. And he did indeed come near us by and by, careless of the danger, came nearer and nearer, drawn by his blind love, by his deep affection for his mate, whom we had just, means the author and his cousin, had killed. Carl fired and he saw something red come down. Then the noise of a fall among the rushes was heard. One of the dogs brought this duck to him. "Put these two in our game bag," means now drake was also shot. Carl said to the author, "Let's move now. We are already very late." Carl went into the hut to collect things. Two dogs also went wagging after him. Author knelt down, made a large hole in the ground, and buried the two dead birds in the same grave, in their own home, in the cold and the lonely marshes. Carl never came to know what he had done. He had returned to Paris the same evening. Means even the birds have their love for their companion. Not only the human beings, animals and birds have also love for each other.